Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing my final Premier draft of War of the Spark before we swap over to Ravnica Mixer drafts or Ravnica Chaos drafts starting tomorrow. So without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one, and this is going to be a contentious one because Gideon Blackblade is an incredibly powerful mythic rare, but it does force us into white, one of the weakest colors in the format, and Eternal Skylord is like one of the best uncommons in the whole set. 2 bodies off 1 card, consistent 2-for-1, and it's really good with the best mechanic in the set, which is Amass, and it's in one of the best 2 colors in the set, which is blue, to be in blue-black. I'm going to take Eternal Skylord over Gideon Blackblade. I am going to send a message here for my final draft of the format. I am going to force Bolas colors because they are immensely powerful in this format. For pick 2, we now have a Toll of the Invasion, a Lazotep Reaver, and an Angrath. These are all really sweet options out of black towards blue-black. I think Toll of the Invasion is the best hand disruption playing really well in the format that has a Planeswalker in every single pack, so plenty of bombs to get rid of from your opponent's hand. Of course, this being a 2-for-1 playing to the board while disrupting the hand is what makes it so incredible, but we'll take Toll of the Invasion here. Pick number 3, well there you go, we've got a Tyrant Scorn here, excellent, really cheap instant speed removal for your blue-black decks. Perfectly happy to just force my way in here and grab the Scorn. It's definitely better than the other 3 on-color cards. Pick number 4, we've got another Toll of the Invasion. There's also a Spark Reaper, a Thunder Drake for very solid options, but Toll is the best here. Plating's okay too, but it is the most narrow of all of these, just being good when your opponent casts removal or something. Pick 5, we have a Callous Dismissal competing with a second copy of Tyrant Scorn. Callous Dismissal's pretty incredible, bouncing something while putting a creature onto the board, but Tyrant Scorn is great as well. We do already have the 1 Scorn, we don't have any Dismissals yet, and Dismissal is less likely to wheel, but neither of these are going to wheel. There's going to be like an Iron Bully and a Courage in Crisis left when this pack comes back, so which is stronger? I think Dismissal is like slightly weaker, maybe? Because instant speed is so huge on this thing, and you can kill any size army with it and stuff. I'm gonna go for the Scorn, since I am already locked in. The Dismissal is like a stronger pick earlier because it's much more flexible generally, and it is really, really close in power level, but I'm like 100% locked in here on blue-black. Now we can take a Herald of the Dreadhorde, really nice 2-for-1, it's a 3-2 and it dies into a 2-2. It's a lot of red flying around too, though. We could take a Jaya's Greeting and go full Grixis with just a little bit of fixing. That might be worth it, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate that. If I took Callous Dismissal, I think I'd definitely take Jaya's Greeting here, because we'd be slightly less locked in on specifically blue-black, but we're like 100% with double Scorn. So I'll just keep taking really solid blue and black cards when they're there. Now we've got a Totally Lost, which is pretty expensive, but pretty solid. Got a Thunder Drake, also Tamio's Epiphany to dig towards your best plays and also just get really far ahead in card advantage is great. Spark Reaper's very solid too. Looks like we've done a really solid job just forcing our way in here, because we are getting really nice options still. Pick 8. I think we grab massive card draw. I mean, I guess Spark Reaper is also kind of massive card draw, but I think there's a lot of really good 3-drops. Less just really good card draw. Dang. Would rather had one of each than double Epiphany, but I'm going to go for another Epiphany here. Counterspells are solid in the format, but I've had really bad experiences the one time I tried to run counters this time around. We'll grab Lazotep Reaver, pick 10, and this is just Magical Christmas Land. I'm going to keep taking blue and black spells to keep people out of the colors. Erratic Visionary, pick 13. Oh yeah, this is going to be a fantastic deck. Hopefully, if we're super lucky, we might even be able to get another 7-win run up in the Mythic ranks here. That would be phenomenal. Pack 2, pick 1 is a complete miss. Aid the Fallen is just really bad if it's in your opening hand, and you need a lot of Planeswalkers to have a creature and Planeswalker engrave, and this is a format where a lot of your creatures aren't even technically creatures. Like, this doesn't pick up Toll of the Invasions, which are part of your creature count. Domri's really cool, but we're very far away from Gruul. We could just take Pyrohelix in case of a splash. These other blue and black cards are just not what I would consider playables, though. Pack 2, pick 2, Magical Christmas Land continues. We've got an Eternal Skylord here for another excellent finisher, as well as just a great rate by itself, even if we don't have an army yet. But if we already have an army that's like a 2-2 or a 3-3 or something, this just ends the game real fast, sending it into the sky. Here we are for pick number 3. Jace's Triumph is solid value. I do already have the double Epiphany. I like those a little better than Jace's Triumph, but the only other cards here are like Herald of the Dread Horde, Skulker. Yeah, not a super good pack. We'll take the Triumph here. This is a format where 2-for-1 little card advantage spells do play quite well. Another Lazatep Reaver for our pack 2, pick 4. Happy to take that. I think Bolas' Citadel always hits the board a little too late. You don't have enough life to really play around with it often. Pick 5, we've got an Ashiok, which is a win condition and a more controlling, slower, grindier matchup. But I think Toll's just better for most matchups, because Ashiok's pretty bad when you're on the defensive against something more aggressive. Really fun card to build around. I mean, if you draft like 2 copies of Ashiok, or you have a ton of Proliferate, then you can play it, and it'll be good in almost any matchup. Problem is, we only have 1 Proliferate, and we don't know if we can get a second copy to just go full on for the mill. So I'm just going to take another Toll, which is just always fantastic. Now we've got Obnixlus's Cruelty for incredible removal. I think we're more looking for that than a 4th copy of Toll of the Invasion, but I'm really happy to be in this draft pod. I mean, part of getting past this stuff was that we forced our way into blue-black so much. Like, we put people on our left into white, passing them a Gideon, and I soaked up as much blue and black as I could, so we didn't pass much blue and black. But it is still really nice to see Toll and Cruelty both still in the pack. Pick 6. Pick number 7. Visionary's fine. Spark Reaper's fine. Jace's Triumph is fine. I mean, these are all actually quite good, but they're all pretty equal is the issue. I'll take the Reaper. I'll make sure we get at least one of those. Now an Aven Eternal, pick number 8, in the same pack with Toll of the Invasion still in there. Magical Christmas Land. We've got a Bond of Insight as well, which is an excellent late game value play, picking up like an Epiphany and a removal spell from your grave later, but I think Aven Eternal, that raw efficiency cannot be beat. Take a Guild Globe in case some splashing around happens. We still see a Totally Lost, a Thunder Drake, and an Aid the Fallen. Don't think I'll be playing the Aid the Fallen, but we might run another Thunder Drake or a Totally Lost. Take a Skulker that I'm probably not running, and we'll see if Magical Christmas Land gets to continue at all as we head into pack number 3. Alright, well, it certainly does. We've got a Spark Harvest, an Obnixlus's Cruelty, and a Rescuer Sphinx for incredible options out of our opening pack. I think we want some more excellent removal out of this pack, so let's grab that instant speed Obnixlus's Cruelty. There's a slight argument towards Spark Harvest because of the ability to kill Planeswalkers, but being able to exile, being able to do it for 3 mana and do it at instant speed, there's a lot of good reasons to take Cruelty over the Harvest, so I will there. Pack 3, pick 2, now we can just take another Cruelty. Pretty happy with that. Pack 3, pick 3, Vraska's Finisher plays really well with all of the Amass 1 that we have going on. It's really good with Lazatep Reavers, it's pretty solid with our Toll of the Invasions. It's a great way to get our 1/2s and 1/1s to trade up into our opponent's bigger cards. So definitely like that over the Strix or the Skulker, or whatever this submarine does. Pick 4, I've already got double Epiphany. We might actually play a counterspell in this deck because we've got other things to do at instant speed. We have Obnixlus's Cruelties, we have Tyrant Scorns. We can hold up the mana for a counterspell and still impact the game if we don't end up needing to cast it. So this is a fine spot for No Escape. And this is an incredible spot for Narset. We've got a really high non-creature count because some of our creatures are also spells, like Toll of the Invasion, so Narset should be fantastic in here. And if we're playing against a blue deck, there's always that potential, like what happened to us last time, that they just forget about the static ability and they try to cast Tamiyo's Epiphany and you insta-win the game. Because the static abilities on the Planeswalkers is like the one kind of design downside of this format. It's kind of annoying. There's some easy to miss little extra lines of text that can completely ruin your game. Pick 6 is nothing we're actually going to end up running, so we'll rare draft the uncommon to fill out our vault progress faster. Pick 7, there's another Vraska's Finisher over basically nothing. Pick 8, another Spark Reaper. Don't think we have the room for all these. Our deck is like exclusively pretty great cards and we still have 28. So we still need to cut like 5 cards here. Probably totally lost when we've got Triple Cruelty, Double Scorn. We've got the Double Epiphany. I think we can drop the Jace's Triumph. Because yeah, we have Double Epiphany and Narset still. Maybe even get a third Epiphany. It's an option. I'll put it in the sideboard for now though. Pick 10, another No Escape as an option. Got a lot of instant speed stuff to do. The Erratic Visionaries help with more instant speed stuff to do as well. Wow. Quadruple Epiphany over here. Mill ourselves. I think I'm just going to cut that one again. Alright, we need to cut like 4 cards to be at 17 land deck, which I think is where we want to be. Alright, so for win conditions here, we have double Skylord, sending the army in the sky. We've got flyers like Double Drake, Double Eternal. I think we're doing decently at closing out the game, even with less win cons, because we're kind of a control-y deck here, where we can just rip their whole board apart and then just chip in with a 2-3 over the course of some turns. So I think I can drop like the Thunder Drakes here. I don't think this deck is very good at casting 2 spells in one turn that often. Actually get the counters going on this. And then Herald is just kind of a fine 4-mana play. It's kind of like dropping those. And then maybe like a Spellkeeper weird here. Just go for straight card drawn board like Epiphanies and Narsets rather than Graveyard Recursion like the weird. Especially when I have so many other 3-mana plays to do. I think this makes sense to me as the 4 cuts. 14 black cards, 11 blue. That's a 9-8 split. We will call it a deck here. Alright, here's like the final deck list for today. We have absolutely forced blue-black since it is our final draft of the format. I wanted to end with somewhat of a banger, and this looks like an absolute banger. We've got double Eternal Skylord for our finishers. Excellent ways to jump our army into the sky and make its 2 power and toughness bigger, so that can end the game real quick once we get this thing down. But we've got all of the really good blue and black cards, the huge amount of 2-for-1s in our deck, with cards like Lazotep Reaver giving us 2 creatures off the 1 card, Aven Eternal, 2 creatures off the 1 card, Toll of the Invasion being Hand Disruption and a creature, and plenty of ways to use our 1/1 zombie armies. We can have them trade up with Vraska's Finisher, giving them essentially Death Touch for the turn. We can sacrifice them for value with our double Spark Reaper, or we can leave them around so that they become really big when we play more Amass cards, and then especially when we finish off with Eternal Skylord. So really nice blue-black Amass deck here. Very controlling archetype as well. We've got Hand Disruption, we've got Removal, we've got Counter Spells, we've got Bounce, we've got Card Draw, all the general blue-black control stuff as well. So it looks like a really solid deck that has a very solid game plan against almost any type of deck. So hopefully it plays out as well as it's playing in my head, but we'll see soon enough as we head into the gameplay. Here we are for game 1 on the draw with a mono-colored hand. I feel like there's been a lot of mono-colored hands and mulligans in this recording session today, in this format in general. Don't know why. We're on as close to an even split as we can be in like all our decks. I got a mulligan this one. Any land gives me access to Cruelty, Reaper, and Finisher. We're on the draw. I think I gotta keep here, but it is a very hesitant keep. There's a Toll. That does make the hand a little better, because any land now gives us 4 playables, and Toll works very well with our Finisher and our Reaper. Our opponent's going to start with their own Lazotep Reaver. We have found a blue source. That does really get us going. We are on the draw here, so it is still going to be quite slow. Not playing anything till turn 3 on the draw, but Now we do have the mana we need to cast any spell in our hand, just once per turn though. Our opponent is the full Jund, natural black, red, and green mana available already, so we definitely want to toll before we do anything else, because if they're playing 3 colors, it's just access to more potential bombs. And that's unfortunate. Because they're on the play, they get to resolve Vivian before we resolve Toll of the Invasion. That's literally a coin flip kind of thing, where if we were on the play, we would have told it out of their hand. Kind of frustrating, but we've got a Vraska's Finisher to maybe clear her out as well. So let's see what they have left. Still have a Tybalt. Spark Harvest, Sorin's Thirst, Spark Reaper. Get rid of the Tybalt here. And then we Vraska's Finisher, trade up next turn. But yeah, this Vivian is gonna take over the game here, giving Vigilance to the 1/2, then drawing them more cards off the -2. Not loving our position.
Starting over's the only way.
They still don't have double black for Sorin's Thirst, so that's nice. I can Vraska's Finisher the 1/2 Lazotep Reaver. Or I can play a Flyer, but they're going to have a reach blocker because of Vivian's ability. And if they top deck the Swamp to Sorin's Thirst the Flyer, that'll be pretty bad. I mean, the only instant that they have is Sorin's Thirst, which isn't castable, so if we do Amass by casting Aven Eternal, they don't have a good block for our army. So we can get a swing on Vivian here. Well, they can cast creatures as they had Flash, though. So if this is bigger than a 2/2, that is real bad. Could be like the 4-mana 4/4 Bloomhulk or something. It's whatever their choice was out of the top 3. Yeah, the odds of this creature being good enough to eat the 2/2, I think, are actually too high. Oh yeah, and they can just cast a Spark Reaper from hand. It doesn't even have to be from exile that they cast them with Flash. Rough. Well, at least we read that. That could have been another position where we just get destroyed by the invisible line of text on these Planeswalkers. Now they top decked the double black. So they have Sorin's Thirst on Aven Eternal, even if I kill the Spark Reaper. I guess we get our Vraska's Finisher value this turn. And they can sack the Spark Reaper to still draw a card, part of why it's so good. 2-for-1's your opponent basically anytime they try to use removal on it. As long as you've got the mana up. Oh yeah, things lined up incredibly for our opponent there. They had the Spark Reaper mana plus Sorin's Thirst.
The mysteries of life are endless.
Now they've got 5 cards to play around with because they've drawn 2 creatures off the Vivian. Here comes a 1/1. Instant speed Lazotep Reaver off Vivian to get an extra damage in. Yeah, you got me. Clear out both Reavers. Try to counter their next creature here. I guess the issue is since they can play them at instant speed, they can wait till our turn to just tax us this 3 mana. But hopefully it's like a good creature that amasses. Nope. So they'd want to cast that like immediately. Alright, they're just gonna tap out for Spark Harvest. Fair enough. 7 mana means I can Epiphany and Spark Reaper or hold up No Escape. Eternal Skylord, that's a big deal. Cruelty's also decent. Cruelty gives us a solid excuse to hold up No Escape. But I mean, Vivian is just taking things over. Well, she already did. She's just keeping things under control at this point.
Like a city brat.
I don't have the mana to play anything alongside Skylord here. If I want to hold up the counter, I have to like Narset. It is several turns till Vivian minuses again.
Mind and body should move in unison. I have just the trick for this.
That's something. Kind of feel like I have to do that. Wow. I mean, I can concede right now. I think Sarkhan is literally instant lethal if they top deck a red source, so we have to get rid of that, I guess. Because then they just attack us with a hasting flying Vivian and Sarkhan and we're dead. Jaya, shoot our creature, hit Narset for 2.
Have you ever lost a home?
Yep.
This is overwhelming.
Still don't have the mana to Skylord while holding up the No Escape. But it doesn't matter because No Escape can't hit Finale anyway. Finale can just kill both Skylord and the token. Yeah, the only thing we can really No Escape is Tolsimir, and that's only if they hit a white source, so... I don't know, I guess I can at least Spark Reaper Narset away with my open mana if we don't No Escape here. Really feels like this game was just over the second that we lost the coin flip. Because again, if we won the coin flip, we would have told Vivian away and they would have drawn significantly less off the -2. They wouldn't have instant speed creatures. We would have had the flow going in our direction to be in the lead, tempo-wise. But good lord, do they have, like, all of the best rares in the format, Finale and Sarkhan. And this toll is just the icing on the cake for them. Like, they already don't even need to make us discard Skylord because they can Finale of Eternity 3 creatures for only 5 mana. This could, for 5 mana, kill Spark Reaper and Skylord and the army it amasses.
There is wonder in a blade of grass.
I don't even know what I'm playing out for at this point. Because even if our board gets slightly close to being scary enough to attack in and kill one of these planeswalkers, they just finale. And then even if we fight through the finale, they just toll Samir for another massive 2-for-1 bomb. Could throw a blocker at the Vizier here, but then they Jaya whatever we blocked with. No one reads this card right. It's not total toughness X or less, it's just toughness X or less. So if you spend it to where X equals 3, you can kill 3 creatures with 3 toughness or less. You want to see that in action? Check out War of the Spark Premier Draft 7, where I do that exact thing many times.
Strike now! Strike hard!
All right. I guess Jaya doesn't have a plus, but I don't know, Vivian's worse for us.
Oh, so it's going to be like that, huh? Tear it down! Tear it all down!
Basically a 1-for-1 trade. I'm just trading the Lazotep Reaver and the token that came with it for their 2/2 army. That's not what we're looking for. I think that's bad enough to start using Visionary. I can't cash in a No Escape when they have Tolsimir in their hand, even if they don't have white yet. God dang, dude. Oh. And I guess I can. If I hit nothing off of Visionary and the Scry, which I didn't. There's 5 more lands we clumped on the bottom. 5 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a land there. There's only 1 land in the next 5 cards.
Let me show you what was lost.
That attempts to kill a Vivian. And they have a creature in exile. Unless this didn't actually hit a creature. I think I have to hold on to this. Just force the chump to protect Vivian here. Have the Scorn up if they do get to flash in a creature. Because they could also just have a creature in hand. They can cast creatures in hand with flash too. Okay.
You'll have to do better than that.
Sorin's Thirst. Make a 3/3 wolf, have it fight something. I could bounce the wolf in response with Scorn, but again, that's only relevant if they hit the white source, and we're kind of just dead if they do anyway. We have to save this again. I mean, I could just draw the card off of it. Right, because I can't just replay it next turn, and there's only one land in these top four. Yeah, this is probably just swapping it for another non-land, saving the Scorn. Okay. Yeah, another Reaper. Since they did that in the end step, we don't get to recast it, which is rough. Nahiri. That is 2 removal spells on a stick again. Could Scorn. I'm not going to Scorn back a 1/3 though. I mean, I guess the draw discard's pretty big, but I think Reaper's a little bigger. Well, there's the 1 land, so 2 non-lands and 2 lands now. So next 2 turns we're hitting gas.
Wait, you think nature is kind?
I have to kill Nahiri now instead of Vivian. Otherwise, Nahiri just kills Spark Reaper. Okay, well, now I could Tyrant Scorn my Reaper and still have a Cruelty up. When they're running out of creatures in their deck to get off of Vivian, I assume, because they've used it so many times they know they're bottom like 6 or something. I think we do attack Nahiri. And it would be one that gains them a life and draws them a card when I kill it, wouldn't it? Saving Cruelty because it kills bigger cards. Yep, gain the life, draw the card, look for that white source.
Don't start with me.
They could Nahiri and Jaya the Reaper.
I don't do delicate.
Okay.
Back to finish my work.
Skylord, that's a huge one. 2/1 Hexproofer.
All things begin and end in nature.
And we know we're gonna hit a little Flood now.
Strike now! Strike hard!
Okay. I'll get Vivian out of here. That's right, Paradise Druid is the source they need. Well, that's terrible.
I've seen squirrels hit harder.
But now Tulsamir's out of here.
You can still walk away.
Oh, man. Oh, man. We need them to block with Challenger Troll or the game's over. Alright. GG. Well, hopefully that was the most frustrating game of the day, because that was not fun from moment 1. Well, really from turn 3, because
I've seen puppies whine.
literally the coin flip decided whether or not we dealt with Vivian or not, and she stuck around the entire game being a card draw engine from our opponent. And we still grinded this game out to them having 10 cards in deck and us 5, or 9 cards in deck and us 5. So I think literally we would win on the play, even against such a collection of bombs over there. Really disappointing way to start things off, but I don't think there was anything we could have done much better there. Just got hit hard by losing the coin flip, and we are heading into game 2. Alright, here we are for game 2 on the draw again. And with a monocolored hand again. Well, variance is not in our favor today, but I think we gotta keep again. One land hits Narset. Swamp hits the entire hand, basically, and we do hit the swamp. Playing against a white deck. Best thing white can do is just be really aggressive, and that's what they're doing. Turn 1 Charm Strain to turn 2 Tomic. Probably gonna have to just scorn Tomic here. So I don't have to deal with the 2/3 flyer. There's a Makeshift Battalion. Yeah, we definitely need to scorn Tomic. Battalion's spooky too, but we can block it with any 2-power creature to trade there. We can't really block a flyer right now. I'm just going to play a finisher to trade off here. We should be able to grind out the long game really good in this matchup, especially with Narset and Epiphany. So we just make blocks and trades in the early game. Clutter up this board state, and in the same fashion, we're going to play another finisher here, rather than tapping out for card draw like these two. Martyr for the cause, sure. Alright, there's the toll for the last card in their hand. They did play a land last turn, so it could be just another land, but anything they draw they're going to cast like immediately, so this is the only time this is ever going to make them discard anything anyway. Okay. Wanderer's Strike is a fine pickup. Alright. Now we're starting to get things nice and stable to cast Narset and win the game with a bunch of card advantage. Wow. Alright, well, not if we really fail their let spin. I'm sorry, what? Another Tomic? Alright, there we go. We hit that time. I don't think we want to draw a card and discard a card when this is our hand. But it's kind of cute to have the option up. Alright. If I play the land, I play double 3-drop, which is pretty tempting. I think I will go for that. Despite that I could hold the land for the Erratic Visionary later. Now we get to start chipping in with Aven Eternal. We're still casting more card draw with an Epiphany. Another Martyr for the cause. Do a lot of Proliferate right now. They've got Battalion to get a counter onto, Rising Populace could get a counter, and they've got one Charm Stray that already has a counter on it. See what kind of wild trick this is going to be. They might just be trying to make Populace as big as possible. Could be their own Vraska's finisher post-combat. Be pretty decent. Alright, well. Not for sure what it is. No immediate interaction here, but I think it's worth having these two cards because they are very strong. We can go chump draw a card turn after turn against the Populace. I could also even take a hit for now. I'm at 18. I'll gain a life sacking Narset to draw a card. Well, that's the easiest Spark Reaper in my life. We'll counter them from amassing. That has no legal targets anymore, so they do not amass 2. And no escape. We've got the Cruelty now on blocks. I need 1 more mana to do that, though, but I can Epiphany and still have the Cruelty up. We don't actually want Toll of the Invasion against an empty hand, so we'll scry it all to the bottom. Find land. It's actually not terrible, again, because the Skylord wants us to have the 8 mana. Next turn we start jamming in with the Flying Army. And roll from there. Keep the land in hand to ditch it during their end step. For a new card. Gain some life with Charmed Stray here. Go for the Populous Swing. Alright, they tapped us out of the counter for the Vraska, which was pretty good for them.
Keep your friends close. Kill your enemies.
But it's just a single Death Toucher. Because we just killed Vraska. Now.
I guess today's your lucky day.
Alright, cool. Another Spark Reaper. We can trade the first one off. Honestly, we can trade the Skylord off too at this point. We're just going to counter their next blockers. Keep a Lazotep Reaver, and there's the concession from our opponent. We have gotten the game fully under control with blue-black control nonsense. We are now 1-1 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are for game 3 on the play. We won a coin flip. Get to start things off with turn 2 Lazotep Reaver, turn 3 Spark Reaper, if we hit our lands on curve. And then we'll finish things up with a Skylord, send our gigantic army into the sky for big damage. And against a green deck. Uh-oh, first draw's another 3-drop. Come on, land. Come on. Ooh, a 2-3 for 2 with Vigilance. There we go, perfect. We do Spark Reaper here. I don't think we're countering a 3-mana play. If Vivian us again. That would be bad. Okay, Evolution Sage is scary, but it doesn't do anything until he gets some counters on the board. Perfect. Land number 4. Now we can find land 5, which we want to be another black source over anything else, and another Spark Reaper is not that great right now, so we'll ditch that too. Find a Tyrant's Scorn, which can get that Evolution Sage out of here before it does anything crazy. Could Scorn and hold up a No Escape next turn instead of playing the Skylord. Try to keep them under control for a bit. Depends what they do here. If they just like play a 2-2 or a 3-3 or something and pass the turn, I'll probably just slam down the Skylord. But if things start looking even moderately scary, Probably go the controlling route. It's gonna be like that +1/+1 first strike trick. Put a counter on a creature, give it first strike till end of turn. Who would have guessed? Not me. Alright, well now we have a really good target for Tyrant Scorn, so that's what we're doing. I don't think there's a hexproof trick in this set, so I like waiting for their turn to do our thing. But I could be wrong. I've drafted the set 7 times recently. Well, I guess we streamed too, so like 10 times. Mobu. Sure. Counter you. Scry the land away. And they're just gonna pass. Alright, Scorn the Sage. Let's fly our way to victory, if we can. Locks it on Sergeant. Not terrible. It's not horrible for us. Get to keep doing our flying thing. 6 more turns to kill them. We get any more amass, that's going to speed it up pretty quick. Even just amassing 1 means they die in 4 turns instead of 6. Just resolve that. I think we save no escape for Planeswalkers. We've got the cruelty to kill the populace if need be. Okay, we've got double cruelty to kill the populace if need be. Charm Stray. Just a 1/1. Forced Landing. That's interesting. I could sack my own Skylord so that doesn't resolve. But I feel like having flying is going to be really valuable here to where we want to just keep the Skylord and amass a new army. Like, it would be really cute. Right, sack the Skylord. That no longer has a legal target, but we just sack the army. It's more cute than anything. The flying is a pretty big deal. How cluttered the board is already getting. Hey, Narset. Alright. Toll. Just gonna use that. I am tapping out of the counter, but I get to just make them discard whatever I'd want to counter anyway. Rally doesn't do anything at all. Charmed Stray is okay. Laru Enforcer is okay. I could just kill either of those after they resolve. I guess the Charmed Stray gives them something to start proliferating on, so that's very, very slightly more concerning to me. Very, very slightly, though. They get some flyers. They've got a full-on on-the-job at the ready. Top tech to Spider. It's pretty good for them, but I've got the cruelties to clear the path. There's the Laru Enforcer. Okay. What do we find now in our set? Another cruelty or an epiphany? I think we take the epiphany on this one. In the interest of holding up no escape, I'm going to give them 1 room, 1 turn of breathing room. think I want another toll. They can keep rally. Crawl Stinger, a Death Toucher on the ground. But it is on the ground. Tap the Skylord. Swing! Okay, they're tapped out and they're swinging with everybody? Let's find some free kills then, shall we? A free kill there. Trade there, I'm making a new army. I guess this isn't a free kill, let's Reaver up into Raptor. And we just cruelty the populace now then? I guess it's a free kill to just get the spider out of the way. We don't lose a single creature there. Well, can still toll their rally. I think I'm just holding up the no escape in case of a top deck Nissa or something crazy. Although Nissa is 5 mana. And if it's like Gideon or something, Gideon's double white. Rally just to untap the Enforcer? Alright, fair enough. They got rally value. I think if they hit a land here, they would have absolutely played it as land for turn. So I will toll their last card in hand. I'm gonna keep the cruelty still. Okay, find a Tyrant Scorn for the Enforcer. Oh, it's the 0/3? That does not do anything. Alright, we're closing out this game pretty quick. They're down to 8 with 2 creatures left. We can respond to anything they do. There we go, just Martyr. Gets no escaped. Kill both their creatures and send in for lethal. Alright, some classic blue-black nonsense. We'll just get miles ahead in card advantage as we near the end of this game, and that is going to put us to 2-1 heading into game number 4. Alright, here we are for game 4 on the play. Start things off on turn 3 with the Toll. Best way to start a game of Magic in this set. Or worst way if you're on the other side of the table. Few feelings are worse than getting told from your opponent who's on the play. Playing against Boros here, that might make us want to just play a 2/3 roadblock against their 2-mana 2/2 of sorts. And yeah, there's the 2-mana 2/2. Yeah, we can cruelty anything they resolve turn 3 instead of having to toll it, so... Unless they cast Literal Gideon? But I think we can also just Cruelty Gideon, even though he's technically indestructible. Still be a 4/4. Gets -5/-5. Alright, Greeting for the Reaper. Very good turn for our opponents. We will Toll next turn. It's going to give us a 1/1 to trade with the Charmed Stray, and it's going to get rid of their next best play. Cool. Epiphany would be cool, but I think we want to deal with our opponent's curve out. Got a Sunblade Angel. Well, that's a really easy cruelty target. They've got a combat trick with battlefield promotion. They've got a Populace and a Pegasus. Kind of want to deal with the ability to create flyers here. I mean, I guess I'll have plenty of flyers with double Skylord, but I do think Pegasus is the scariest immediately. Yeah, Populace is pretty scary too. It's one of the 3-drop creatures for sure. I'll go for the Pegasus. Keep things grounded. So they could trade battlefield promotion for our 1/1 here, if they really want to get Charmed Stray in, but then they're not playing another creature for the turn. Okay. They're just going to let Populace get bigger? Sure. They still on 3 mana? If they're still on 3 mana, I'll blow the cruelty on Populace. Yeah, they're still on 3 mana. So now they're stuck with a 2/2 and a combat trick? Sure. Well, one of the draws was a 2/2 haste. That's unfortunate. Down to 12 here. But here's our roadblock. Their promotion's really good on 10th District Legionnaire. Hate that. There's War Screecher with the promotion mana up. Are they not even going to use it as a trick? They're just going to be like, okay, I'll make a 4/4 first strike, boom. No, they're still going to use it trick style. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially a 4/4 first strike attacking us, so I can't really do anything about that. We take it. It won't be first strike any other turn if they blow the promotion right now, so they might want to hold on to that. They do want to hold on to that. Okay, so this is 6 mana now, so I can cast another Skylord, and then next turn I can cast Epiphany and a 3-drop in the same turn. Either if I top deck a land for turn or if I scry into the land off Epiphany. Which is scry 4, draw 2. It's basically impossible not to hit a land next turn. Alright, well, they kill one of my creatures. Still have plenty of blockers, but the Screecher's gonna get in. But Epiphany can hopefully dig for a couple removal spells to deal with the flyers again. Pretty happy with my decision to deal with the Pegasus. Because our flyer is going to be gone. Well, there you go. There's a cruelty to deal with the big angel. Okay, those are excellent. Excellent cards. I'm gonna just cast an Eternal right now. Let's flip the tempo now. Let's become the aggressor. They can kill one of these if they double block if they want to, but they are not going to block at all. Spellgorger weird off the top, so still no Sunblade Angel yet. Here's our Lazotep Reaver. buff up the flyer, so War Screecher just blocks 1. Still moderately scared. This is probably still too scared. I should probably attack with everybody here, since I am playing another blocker post-combat and killing one of their attackers. Okay. Just Cruelty the Angel and go to town. Gotta do it pre-attacks, so they don't gain any life. Really don't need much on blocks now. 12 life to 10, we get the first swing. Alright. They gotta deal 10 to us right now or this game's over. They have a 2-2 and a 3-3 if they basically tap out to activate their land. Wow, what a draw. They still lose though, because I just picked my flyer. An attack for 2. Okay. I was scared that it was a board wipe, but then I realized it was the board wipe where we get to keep whatever we want, and we want a flyer to kill them. Alright. If that was full-on Wrath of God, that'd have been bad. But not quite Wrath of God, so we still just find the victory there, and we are now 3-1 heading into Game 5. Here we are for Game 5 on the play again. Solid coin flip luck lately. We take those. Reaver into Finisher is always awesome. But we'll start with Spark Reaper if they don't do any blocking turn 2. Which they will not. They don't even play a creature. We've got our Finisher with the Skylord. Get some big damage in the sky. Our giant ball of zombies just levitating around. Pre-combat the Eternal for extra damage. Probably have 1 removal spell here. They just kill the flyer, take 5. Yeah, I mean, this is really favorable right now. Yeah. They go to 13. Only our summoning sick creature died. It's a Conjurant. That's a roadblock on the ground, but... oh, it prevents all the damage that's dealt to it, so actually Finisher doesn't work against it. We were going to cast Skylord anyway, which is what I was going to say but about. I was going to say, but we're sending in the sky now. So it's too bad that they blocked the ground off. Rubble Belt Riders, that doesn't do anything unless it's attacking, I think. Yep. So we can just keep sending in our flying balls of pain. Pretty important to keep flying. I don't think I can attack with Skylord here, but we can whittle down the Conjurant and kill the Rioters with a Finisher trigger. To clear a path to go for lethal here with 2 more threats. I mean, maybe it was worth sending the Skylord into with the amount of threats we were going to have on board there, even if they traded into Skylord. Flying might have not mattered at that point. Get there either way. Our opponent gets a little bit stuck on mana when we had just an exceptional curve out on the play to play a nice aggressive role in that game. Super flexible stuff from the deck. We are now 4-1 heading into Game 6. Alright, here we are on the play for Game 6. We got Visionary into Toll. The Toll into the Finisher is very good. Even Visionary might bounce off a random 2-2 or 1-3 that has a good ability that we want to kill. I mean, killing anything with Finisher is good value. Like a Tomic with Finisher would be nuts. Alright, they're not going to let us do that. I don't think I need to Cruelty this quickly. Let's see what's in their hand first. See exactly what's going on. Their own Toll and a Reaver. Well, let's get rid of that Toll. So we still have Epiphany to come ahead in the late game. Now they just have a Reaver and a bunch of lands. Other than that, they're playing off the top. This seems exceptionally winnable to me. Yeah, the ground state's already locked in. We can just take 2 damage to Epiphany for now. And there you go. Oh boy, another Epiphany. Single cruelty and we're ahead on board. Let's go Reaver. If they don't go for any blocks here, then we go ahead and finisher it up post-combat. Or sorry, we go ahead and cruelty the Tomek. If they do go for blocks, we finisher it up post-combat. Take a little bit more damage here. This is interesting. What is this? Battlefield promotion. Yeah, sure, you got me. You can have a 2/3. I don't hate that. Just pretend they used a removal spell. Yeah, I guess the Proliferate is a big deal there. I was gonna say, I don't mind them using removal on my 1/3 either, but the Proliferate's actually huge. Finishers are not so good on blocks. Oh, how I wish I had 1 more mana. Cast a finisher and still have a cruelty up. I can Epiphany into a Tyrant Scorn? We've got 2 in the deck. It's kind of unlikely. I'm gonna get a little greedy. Go for it. I guess I need to specifically hit the right land and Tyrant Scorn. That seems unlikely. But when I take 5, go to 6. Yeah, no, we gotta slow this down. Okay, now I have mana to Tyrant Scorn off of Epiphany. I don't need to hit the land and the Scorn. Well, these are incredible cards, but they're not the Scorn. Take the Reaver, that gives me something to do immediately. I think I like this order. And Reaver gives me all the blocks I need. It's 2/3 worth of stats. Alright, let's see what's going on over there. Land, makes sense. Now we know. Yeah, I can still double block with double Reaver. I think we can send in here. Yeah, we're still blocking and killing both of their attackers on board. Spark Reaper can really run away with it here. Any removal they draw into to help clear a path will just draw a card every time they're using it. It's another blocker for us. I say double block would be wild. I would love that though. Oh, another battlefield promotion. Honestly, you got it. I think I need to save cruelty for something genuinely scary instead of a 3/3. Like if they hit a flyer or something and I've blown my cruelty, that's one of the few ways we could actually die here. Now, if they use some kind of trick that's going to save the 3/3 again, I'll probably have to use it, but Otherwise, we just trade the Reaper off. Alright, well, it's the 15 battlefield promotion deck. I guess we have to cruelty. Alright, no ETB from finisher, we just play it as a trader on blocks. Which means no finisher in hand, so we start digging with our Reavers, because they can't attack in without a finisher in hand. Fantastic draw with Eternal Skylord with the 3 mana up for Spark Reaper's ability. Oh, I totally forgot we already had an army. We should have pre-combated that. Or I guess it's a better play against removal to do it post-combat, because then like maybe the army trades into battalion, then we get a new one instead of just making one really big army, but that's really a narrow reason to do that. We should have just played it pre-combat. I just totally forgot that we had an army to buff. I was just like, we have a 2-2, a 2-3, and a 3-2. Well, this one's an army, so it could have been a 4-4 on attacks there. Doesn't matter, we do grind out the long game pretty well. Blue-black really good at winning the top deck wars with cards like Spark Reaper. We are now 5-1 guaranteed in the money out of our final draft of War of the Spark, and I don't feel bad at all about forcing blue-black. It's just kind of where to be. But we'll see if we can't take it any farther as we head into game number 7. Here we are for game 7. Desperate need of a blue source, but we're on the draw with 2 pretty nice castable spells, the Reaper and the Cruelty. Hand is very bad without drawing specifically a blue source. If it was a hand where like I needed to draw 1 land, but it could be any land, I'd be perfectly fine. But again, the hands where it's a specific color I need, I'm actually going to take the mulligan this time around. It's another one of those borderline hands. This is not much better. Because we're not doing anything till turn 3 on the draw, which is quite bad, especially against red. But it has both our colors this time, guaranteed. Oh, well, there we go. I'm going to turn 2 Tyrant Scorn on the defensive. Just kill their 3-drop. Well, I'd rather not kill a 1-1 with that. But I can kill the army at any point, and it'll be great. Angrath, Dreadhorde, Twin Saheeli. Well, that's a bonkers hand. Good grief. So it's going to be a big army with Menace, or it's going to be multiple creatures and trample. I think I let it become a big army with Menace, and then we just kill it single-handed with Tyrant Scorn later. I would rather not them get multiple creatures off of something like the twins here. Okay, they're going to Saheeli first. Go for maximum greed. They want to get all the 1/1s. Well, that's a good draw. Another toll. And now it's just all lands in their hand. Start chipping away at Saheeli, see if we can deal with that before they draw into more non-lands. Alright, well they hit a Vampire Opportunist, which is a non-land, but not a non-land, non-creature. So Saheeli does not trigger. Haven Eternal. Or, yeah, they have to chump or lose Saheeli. I mean, we do want lands. We have 4 and 5 mana cards, but out of any non-lands in the deck we could be drawing, these are some of the better ones. Alright, Goblin Assault Team threatens a lot of damage here. I think it's worth the trade. Like, we're really good at locking in the long game with the double Epiphany, so let's just preserve our life total and make sure we're fine for now. For the same reason, we can just hold back and they don't get to attack in at all for here and now. We actually like all these cards a lot. Start using Opportunist's ability, which is annoying. We probably have to scorn the Opportunist. Uh-oh, they maybe top decked something. Looking at their hand there. I guess since I want to draw this land, if I Narset, I won't. So we could just scorn the Opportunist to stop its ability from popping off here. Now we can start racing because it's 3 to them, then 2 to us, then 3 to them, then 2 to us if I kill one of their creatures. Alright, they go ahead and get their drain. Sure. Could have pre-combated Reaver for the extra damage, but I like having the cruelty up if they have one of those weird tricks that like brings it back from grave or something. Alright, those are solid draws. Crunch and Vizier here. Some big counterattacks. Got the 6 mana now. I can Narset and Cruelty.
I know 88 ways to defeat. I have just the trick for this.
Toll just to have a 5/5 is interesting, but I think it's better to hold up Cruelty for now. Goblin Assault Team. Well, that's a good draw. I mean, I guess it just trades into Reaver. It's not that good. It does do this, though, doesn't it? Makes us lose the whole board to keep Narset. I think she's worth it, though. Another card draw.
Hone your prowess.
All right. Yeah, I don't need an immediate blocker, so I'll Epiphany and hold up No Escape rather than not holding up No Escape. Even though they know we have it. Goodbye, Narset. Now if they hit their own card draw, they can cast it. So we can spend 4 mana and still hold up No Escape. Whatever. This all actually just lines up kind of bad. Only spent 3 mana worth of stuff, so we'll give them a turn to escape. To be mana efficient. Okay. It's not a creature or planeswalker anyway. So we'll see if they top deck one that is relevant. If they do, we can probably finisher it if it's a planeswalker. Okay, it's a crunch. It's relevant, but not insanely so. Not enough that I think I would have cast the No Escape anyway. Sure. Clear the board. Spark Reaper's really good in a top deck war. Every time they cast removal, we sack whatever they're targeting. Just go ahead and get a creature out of the toll. Sure. For full damage, let's send the finisher down too, since we can still hold up the No Escape. And there's the concession from our opponents. We are now 6-1, I think, because I think we said we were in the money on the last win, which would mean 5-1. I think we're 6-1, just 1 win away from a full 7 winner. Oh yeah. Dimir remains on top in War of the Spark. It's all about Team Bolas in this format. We are 6-1, heading into the final battle with 2 rounds in the chamber. All right, here we are on the play for what may be our final battle in the War of the Spark format this time around. We've got a pretty nice opening hand. No 2-drop here, but some very solid turn 3 and onward plays. Obviously, we want to hit another blue source for the Narset, but perfectly happy with this opener. Our opponent is not. They do take a mulligan. And here we go. Find a no escape for late in the game. Playing against Rakdos with a turn 2 play. Vampire Opportunist to roll out. Here's the Spark Reaper to block that, as long as it doesn't get shot by removal. There's a Mayhem Devil. That's a big problem out of Rakdos. That can do a lot of stuff, so having the Tyrant Scorn to clear that out is pretty nice for the future, but I'm going to Epiphany for now. Get a nice draw 2 here. I don't like the Visionary much, but the Cruelty and the lands are still valuable to me. Especially Island specifically. So you play Narset. Or we could go Finisher plus Scorn next turn. Go Cruelty plus Scorn. I don't know so much about land 6, but I definitely like land 5. I think I'll just keep both. Right, because Narset's going to hit exclusively non-lands. So we're going to be hitting cards off of Narset that require more mana to cast 2 spells in 1 turn as well. I think having 6 mana is perfectly fine later in this game. Right, there's a Guild Globe. Ooh, they can sack that, trigger the Mayhem Devil, deal 1 to any target. That's going to let Opportunist get in. Alright, we are certainly killing Mayhem Devil then. So that means no Narset, because we're going to Tyrant Scorn this turn. So let's Tyrant Scorn, holding up no escape and Obnyx's Cruelty. Let's do it right now so we see exactly where they choose to send their Guild Globe damage if they crack it. If they send the damage at Reaper, we don't attack. If they send it at our face, we could attack with Spark Reaper. But I think we are playing the defensive against Rakdos and just holding off this Opportunist still. Banehound for a 1/1, sure. Going to cast their own finisher? No. So we've actually no escapes really good against the Vraska's finisher. I don't hate Cruelty on Opportunist here, but it's certainly not necessary yet, so I'm not going to do it. Now we Narset holding up no escape or Cruelty. She's probably going to die to some red burn spell, but that's fine. Gets us another Epiphany or a Toll. Toll is tempting. See exactly what's going on. I really like doing that. And I think another Epiphany just keeps us in the card advantage lead really solidly. So we'll take that. Alright, Cruelty the Reaper so that they can send in and kill Narset. Makes sense. Crack the Reaper to draw a card, or I can Cruelty the Opportunist. That way Narset draws us another card. I think it's probably a little better to just preserve Cruelty then, since either way we're drawing a card here.
We still have much to learn.
6th mana from our opponent. There's an Aven Eternal. So now we Epiphany, holding up no escape or Cruelty. These are great draws. We are taxing ourselves here, though, to hold up the counter. Take another 3 damage by doing this, but that's fine. We'll have plenty of blockers up. 1 Lazotep Reaver blocks their entire board, so we can hold off for a turn. There's 2 Lazotep Reavers to super block their whole board. But I think it's going to be Reaver plus Eternal. Then we've got a flying threat, too. Alright, we are monumentally ahead in cards, so it would take some really impressive spells to turn this game around in our opponent's favor. Dreadmalkin is not a really impressive spell. It's solid. They still got the 7 mana up to drain us again. Makes me kind of want to just kill that. Stop the drain, which means Dreadmalkin's going to get a little bigger. Sure. Toll and see their last card in hand. Tidebearer Giant. Well, that's a really good hit. Can Reavern still hold up? No escape. Can this sack artifacts? No. Creatures or planeswalkers. They can hit us for 5 menace damage next turn. No lifelink, though. And they can sack Banehound, hit for 5 as their game plan. I think we win the race, but I just hold the 4/4 off. We just double block the menace and we're super safe, so play it safe for a second here until we can get some finishers down to still present lethal to the Dreadmalkin. Toll, that's an annoyingly good top deck. Come on. That's 2 cards to sack to the Dreadmalkin to make it a 7/7. Genuinely don't think they could have drawn a better card out of their entire deck. Well, that is horrific. Well, still got 7/7 worth of stats on blocks. But this cat is becoming a big problem. Maybe I should have countered the cat. We lose the game, it's probably because we didn't counter the cat. No respect out of the Rakdos sack deck for the cat. Pretty bad draws, but our opponent's not hitting much either, it looks like. Oh, come on. Please. Just give me one of our 2 things that gives our whole army flying. We're like 3/4 of the way through our deck. Alright, Davriel's way too much damage. We have to counter that. Which means they get to resolve their next card. At least I get to scry my 15th land to the bottom. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, my 12th land. Oh, there's the 13th. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. Manticore is exceptional with the cat on board. And just in general, quite big this late in the game. How is this happening right now? Oh, and we scried 3 lands? That's literally every land in the deck already. Wait, 6, 7, 8, 13, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 1 land in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 1 land in the top 12 cards of our library at this point. That's how many we've drawn in a row. And so we lose. It looks like. That's so disappointing. Be in a much better position had we countered the Dread thing, but drawing all but 1 of our lands with like 12 cards left still means we would still be losing right now had we countered that. So I probably should have just attacked with the Eternal. Now they just make the cat even bigger, because I gotta stop damage here and shoot this Hellion. Tapped out of making the cat any bigger, but these are both big enough to just force a chump here. Guess we're not quite dead. We take 8 damage on board, so we swing in and get one more draw step. No, there's the opportunist. Wow. Alright, well, astronomical flood there. I think literally the only thing we could have done differently was countering the Dread Malkin. That would have played better. We would have had a tiny bit more time, but drawing so many lands that our top 12 had only 1 land left at that point. Just way too little gas for the end game. All right, here we are for the final game of Magic for today's draft and the final game of the War of the Spark format this time around. Win or lose, we're at 6-2 right now, so it all... It's as easy as that, baby. Draft blue-black, get rewarded. Win on turn 0. The only archetype in the set that can win on turn 0. Okay, well, I completely lost my train of thought because that was very unexpected. Maybe we played against this opponent again or something? Like we already played against them earlier and they didn't like getting repaired against the same deck? Or maybe something came up and they had to leave, or I don't know what that was about. So we were on the draw here, and we were on a mono-colored hand, so those were 2 bad strokes of variance right from the get-go, but the hand's really good. We got to start with the Reaver into Toll to rip something out of their hand. So I think this hand could compete. This could go either way. We could get the victory, we could get the loss. If we don't hit an island, we might lose. But we've got quite some time to play other powerful spells before we need the island. I was definitely going to keep here, and could have been anyone's game, but I guess we get the 7 winner. Our opponent just concedes the game on the spot, and that will be a 7-win run. Once again with Grixis good stuff. Just blue-black this time around, like our last 7-win run, but I think that is a good little time capsule of the format, these 6 drafts we've done. We played Grixis Bolas the first time, got our 7-win run. We played Boros aggro, got a 4-3. We then played blue-black, got another 7-win run. And then we played green-red and white-blue, got a 4-3 and a 3-3 there respectively. And then here we are in blue-black again for another 7-win run. That is kind of how the format feels. Solid builds of the kind of off-the-wall or off-color archetypes, the non-Amass kind of decks, on average are gonna be like 3-3 to 5-3 decks. Whereas if you can get a solid build in blue, black, and red in the Grixis color trio, that is really where it's at. There is definitely some color imbalance in the format with how powerful a mechanic Amass is, giving you so many built-in 2-for-1s in your deck, even off of your commons like Toll of the Invasion and Lazotep Reaver and like mythic uncommons like Eternal Skylord. That is kind of the format in a nutshell here. Blue, black, and red just going to have a much easier time making it to those 7-win runs more consistently, and our record was kind of according. I am happy I didn't exclusively draft blue-black, but I'm happy that I did it at least 3 times for 3 7-win runs. So here we are. For the biggest over and underperformers in this deck, I would say the biggest underperformer probably goes to No Escape. I haven't loved the counterspells in this format. They do have like pretty solid win rates on 17 lands and stuff, but I just notice a lot of positions where you have like the No Escape and your opponent casts like a Toll of the Invasion that you can't even counter. Or there can be positions where you're in a deck like this that just has a little bit less instance. Maybe no Erratic Visionary for instant speed things to do as well. And it can be really hard to hold up a No Escape when your options are like, I can cast an Epiphany or hold up a No Escape. Like, it's really hard to justify holding up the No Escape because that's like a 50-50 whether you're going to do anything with it. You're only going to do something with it if they specifically cast a creature or Planeswalker. If they don't have anything to cast that turn, or if they're going to cast one of these sorceries that Amass is, then you've just held up all your mana for nothing, and it would have been so much better to cast Epiphany. So it's kind of hard to find the right time to use the counterspells, but the counterspells are pushed. Exiling and scrying something does make it decent, but I think that this performed not the greatest here today, so I will give No Escape the Underperformer award, or alternatively the Vraska's Finisher, because I do really like that card, and we didn't really find a lot of kills with it today. We just played it as a 3-2 a lot, pretty aggressively. But for the overperformer, we'll go ahead and give that to Eternal Skylord. I mean, it's hard to give a mythic uncommon that you drafted really highly, like you drafted it over a Gideon, the overperformer reward, but I think it was pivotal in a lot of our victories, making sure we had a big finisher, and this jumping the army in the sky, getting flying damage, getting 2 creatures off 1 body, was making it a great finisher, and the other creatures don't really fill that role super well outside of like Aven Eternal, so maybe Aven Eternal gets to join the overperformer stack, just like the Vraska's Finisher gets to join the underperformer stack. But either way, I had a really fun time with this format, coming back to it. I hope you all did as well. But that's going to do it for War of the Spark, starting tomorrow, or today at the time of upload. Actually, no, it is going to be tomorrow. We've got Ravnica mixer drafts of some kind, where they're going to be putting all the different Ravnica sets into the same draft format. So that'll be really interesting. Be doing plenty of those drafts, and then they're doing some kind of artifact mixer chaos drafts the week after. I don't know. They're doing interesting variety draft things, as they always do in the month leading up to the new set coming out. So pretty excited about that. And of course, the new set coming out, Outlaws at Thunder Junction, is like April 14th, 16th-ish. So pretty soon now. Lots of great draft formats on the horizon, so stay tuned for all that if you're interested. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video and you're interested in seeing more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below, where I'm live every Wednesday. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.